Hello, it's me, the video games bad man. I'm not going to talk about video games today because they're shit. All of them, they're all bad. Battlebit, more like boring bit, am I right, gamers? But that said, making videos is fun, so I thought, what could I make a video about? And the answer was clear to me. Instead of talking about nerd shit, I could talk about extremely nerd shit. So you're probably wondering, Harry, how did you do that thing? To which I'm gonna say, what thing? To which you're gonna say, the thing with the Battalion Legacy thumbnail. How did you do that? Did you, go in there yourself and look at the player counts every 15 minutes and change the thumbnail or something? To which I'm gonna say, no. I don't do that. I automate it using the magic of computer programming. Computer programming lets you do lots of different things. For example, if I type in print hello world into this file and run it, it prints out the text hello world. If you've taken a single programming class, then you probably know how to do this already, and then you don't investigate any further because, well, how do you investigate any further? What even is the next step? The issue with learning computer programming is very similar to the issues with learning a second language, in that if you're not going to France, you likely don't have many opportunities to speak French. If you want to learn programming, then the best way of doing it is to do it. Think of something that you want to do with your computer and then give it a try. So in this case, the idea that I stole from Pixel Look Heaven was to have their player count for Battalion Legacy on the thumbnail, and have that count automatically update. So let's think about this for a few seconds. First of all, we need to get the live player count for the game. Luckily, this is publicly available information thanks to the website steamcharts.com. Look, there it is. That's the number we want. The game is not doing too good at the moment. Now, as a side note, this information is available through Steam's own API, and I probably should have done that instead, but I didn't. So yeah. What I did do was employ a technique called web scraping, which basically means a computer makes a request to this website in order to get the information that I want off of it. A not great thing to do on a large scale, but nothing to lose sleep over if done once every 15 minutes. Now is probably a good time to introduce the language that I'm going to code all of this in. Yeah, that's right, there are lots of different languages to do programming in, each with their own benefits and drawbacks. I'm going to be using Python. Python is a programming language, it's fine. I'm not an expert. I usually like to use it when I'm feeling lazy because it's basically just English. The advantage of Python is that it's a well-supported language in terms of libraries and documentation for those libraries, and it just so happens that Python is pretty good at all of the things that we want to do. It's easy to set up. You just Google how to create a Python environment because you forget how to do it every time and you're good to go. Really though, the programming language is just a tool like any other thing that you use to do a thing, so as long as the thing is done, it doesn't really matter what you use. Python has a library called Beautiful Soup, which lets you take an HTML document, the thing that every website spits out when you visit it, and navigate around to find the data you need. It just so happens that navigating the Steam stats page with these lines of code that I've forgotten what they do will get us the number that we need. What we've ended up with is just a single method that downloads the Steam stats page, navigates the document to find the live player count along with the minutes, and then returns them both. With that out of the way, we also need to actually make the thumbnail programmatically. Python has a library that lets us do this called pill. Once again, this is simply a case of running the right commands. We open the blank template file, we draw the line of text, and then we save it as a new file. I don't know why I sounded so excited. Finally, now that we have our image, we need to give it to YouTube. This is easily the most difficult and complicated part of the entire process for one reason: actually getting onto YouTube. Some of you out there may be thinking, well, maybe there's a thing that lets you sign into your YouTube account and upload the thumbnail, and you're close. But the main point of concern here is the whole signing in part. A general security rule is that you don't want to write down your password anywhere in a file. So instead you use something that nobody knows how to use right up until the point where they have to use it, where they will learn how it works and then immediately forget, starting the cycle anew. Of course, I am talking about OAuth 2. The idea behind OAuth 2 is basically just a bunch of text, and if you write down enough text, you can trick everyone into thinking that you know what you're doing. You have a client ID, which is a load of text, and a refresh token, which is a load of text, and a secret ID, which is, you guessed it, a load of text. If you put the text in the correct place and make the calls to the correct URLs, YouTube will be so overwhelmed by the amount of text that you're giving it that it has no choice but to let you in and run whatever commands you want. That's definitely how it works. I'm storing all of this in environment variables, which is a clever way to hide text in places that aren't where all of this text is. Instead, you just make a call to the place that is not your text in your text, and it replaces it with the text that you need. Make a call to the YouTube API and bing a bada boom, your thumbnail has been updated. join it all together and you have a little script that rotates it out every quarter hour or so. Now this doesn't run on my computer, of course. Obviously it needs to be running every 15 minutes and my computer does need to go to sleep at some point. So I made a huge mistake, which was to put it on Heroku, where there was a free tier, and now there's not a free tier, so I'm paying for it. Don't do this step. Go out and rent a cheap Hetzner server or something, and then you can do some other stuff with it, such as waste an entire afternoon setting up a Mastodon instance that like only 3 people will follow you. So what have we learned today? Probably not that much. If you want to rotate out your thumbs for any kind of purpose though, this is probably like the sort of maximum you want to get with this kind of complexity. It's very likely that you'll just want to swap out a few images, which is actually very easy if you vaguely know what you're doing. You can skip all of the web scrapey Python image library stuff. If you have the files, you can just rotate them out. It's very easy to do if you vaguely know what you're doing, and because I've done such a good job at explaining it, you should know what you're doing. Okay, that's it. I'm out. See you all later.